All right, fifth in the lineup of international endeavors is the second episode in Ireland. This week I sat down with a very blunt human being, Kieran Leinung, who I am working with again this summer, and I had the pleasure of meeting at camp last summer. We recorded this last year, so I guarantee our perspectives have changed, but this week Kieran really did give us a conversation, a great one. He's a musician, an avid football player, a big brother, an intellect, a bully, and all of this is wrapped into one very large Irish package. But he's also a little German, so you can throw your preconceived notions out the window. A couple of facts about Kieran: he was born and raised in Laois in Ireland. He can play the guitar, he can sing a lot better than most people, and he could also play the harmonica. He's fluent in English and German, and he can also speak both Irish and Spanish. He graduated from the University of Dublin. He's one of the most caring, attentive, but also honest and refreshing people I've ever met. He is easily one of my most cherished connections from summer camp. This week, Kieran spoke about the Irishman's experience in Canada, what life at a summer camp is like. We talked about the housing crisis. We talked about external and internal validation, and so much more. This guy also went on a 20-minute rant about the hero archetype and used a cup of tea as a metaphor, and it's something you'll only understand if you listen to him explain it. Kieran, I have been very, very lucky to know you and have you as an influence in my life. Whether or not it's next year, I know the memories we've shared have created a bond I won't soon forget. I hope that I can come to Ireland and you can decide to give Canada a couple more summers of your time, because our work is not finished yet. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us, and for those of you listening, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of What Makes You Happy. Alright, whenever you're ready, go ahead. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, so another day, another session. This time, we started in Ireland, and then we went to the UK for a couple episodes, and now we're going back to Ireland. I am sitting here with my friend. I am very glad that I have the ability to call him my friend, Kieran. Kieran, right off the bat, just say hi to the people, give them a little update, like where you're from, who you are, what you like to do, what you studied in school, because this guy just graduated. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man. So I'm Kieran.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Ireland. I'm from a small place called Laois. And I am currently fucking about in Canada, doing random stuff, enjoying my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just graduated, gonna try and live that and enjoy it for the next few months. So
Yeah, bro.
yeah, that's me.
Honestly, I think the biggest thing for me, right off the bat, man, is I could not do what you did. Like, I understand for you, it doesn't feel like a huge thing to get on a plane, go to another country, and live there for 9 weeks, but if I didn't have my bed, bro, I would go fucking crazy. I can't lie.
Yeah, no, it does get to me, man. Especially these little piss-proof mattresses that
Yeah.
just feel like I'm on a bouncy castle every time I move.
Yeah.
They're not the best, but I mean, it's worth it, because I wouldn't have got to meet you. I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Come on.
I wouldn't be doing any of this. I wouldn't got to experience Canada and the Rocky Mountains, so it's all worth it in the end, you know?
Yeah,
and
bro.
At the end of the day, I get to go back home and enjoy it even more, because I've gained a new perspective on life, and I get to go back and observe it from a different perspective, so
Facts.
it's fun in that sense.
This is one of the smartest people that I have met, and I think it's very interesting, because I think just the, what is the words I'm trying to say? The generalized idea about Irish people is you're all drunks and you're all really loud and you're all really mean. But we did this thing called KK. It was an exchange at the camp that we're working at this summer, and Kieran had me. And this guy wrote me a book of philosophical ideas. Like, this guy's brain is working, so it's going to be a lot of fun just sitting down, chopping it up with my guy for a while here. The first thing I want to ask you about, bro, what do you think the biggest change is that you've seen since being here? Is it infrastructure? Is it the people? Is it the nature? You know what I'm saying? Because where you live and where Noah lives, two completely different places. So,
like coming to Canada, the change. That's a good question. I feel like North America in general has this thing of like, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's like this: we need to look bigger than we are,
right?
You know, and I don't think Canada's quite as embodied in that or embedded in it, but I think you still kind of do have it, and it's like your roads are fucking way too big. You don't need that much road for one fucking car.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean? And
That's
then you
true.
call it traffic, you have like a 5-minute wait time, man. Should see Ireland. We have 2-lane roads and it works fine. It's a bitch, you give out about it, but at the end of the day you go home and you shut up.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, man, it's just like, we don't make out what we're not, you know?
Yeah.
We don't make out to be what we're not, rather. It's
Right.
like, America is the land of like entertainment and exaggeration. It's like everything's either there to entertain you. Like a small blizzard is like the size of my head, and it's like then you're wondering about obesity. So I think it's just like the kind of excess that you have
right
in your everyday life. And it's just like anything that could make your life more convenient or enjoyable in the short term is like offered to you. It's like Walmart, we don't have that, you know.
Right.
We don't need a store that has like 60 aisles. It's
and
like
literally
a store
everything.
needs 7 aisles, one for bread, one for milk, one for whatever the fuck, and maybe a bit of meat, you know. Like that's enough. That's all you need. You walk in, you know where you're going, you come out in 5 minutes. I walk into Walmart, I'm in there for 25 minutes, still don't know what I'm looking for, and it's a blessing if I get out within half an hour, you know.
Fair enough.
So I don't know, I think that's one of the biggest things, that cultural difference of like needing or thinking you need more than you do.
I think I agree with you, like especially about America. Like if you think about Los Angeles or New York, for example, like everybody sees that with a rose-tinted glass. They're like, I would kill to go there, and I'm the same. Like I would kill to visit there, but like to live there.
And I went to New York in March,
right?
And that's kind of where it hit me. Like I was like, Manhattan is not what it seems to be. You know, it's a dirty city, a lot of litter, a lot of like drug addicts, and a big epidemic in that sense. But also, it's just like everything is some sort of advertisement to catch your eye, to like make you want this, to make you want that, to make you want this, and it's just like, sit back, relax, and just realize what you have before you go out looking for more. But it's like they're pushing this in your face so much that people lose track of what they have, and they're just kind of always searching for more. And I really dislike that, to be honest.
I agree. I think it's very tough for people, especially who are here, that don't have another worldview, because it's like, I get exactly what you're saying. Times Square is literally just a billboard. Like a huge neon billboard, and it's like overwhelming. They're pushing this new artist, this new movie, this new product, and it changes literally every day. Like it's no longer, I don't really know shit about fashion, but I've heard that like if you go back to the 90s or the 80s, like fashion trends that would last a full season, which is like 3 to 4 months. Fast fashion, like it's over by the end of the week.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
They in H&M and those type of companies, they
bro.
have like a team dedicated to just figuring out what the next fad is going to be, ordering a month in advance so that they have the stock, they lead the fads, and then it just changes like that, because it's a cycle. It's like, okay, we're looking for the next fad, the next fad, the next fad. Well, obviously it's going to be coming if the people who are making the clothes are looking for it, you know?
Exactly.
And then you have this constant cycle of, I need to buy new stuff, I haven't bought anything in a month. And it's like,
I know.
you see what you're doing?
I feel the same way, bro, because like if it's not broken, I don't need to replace it. And I have some things, like I have a pair of headphones, it's missing like the fluffy part that's comfortable in your ear.
You see mine, man. Look at this shit.
And it still works,
it
right?
works,
so
man.
why buy a new one? Why buy a new
perfectly.
one? So I think the biggest thing, that's one of the things that I like appreciate about you guys, is you come here and you show us. Because it's not like you're living off nothing. You have fucking internet, you know? It's not the Stone Age. But it's not like you have to put sugar in everything. It's not like... I feel like you could speak to this better than I can. I saw at the barber this weekend, 4 parents, they put their kid in the chair and then stick an iPhone in their hand.
That's crazy.
You can't even talk to your kid to entertain them? Like, what is really... I don't know what's happening.
And when you're training a child to be like that from age 4, like we weren't we weren't trained to be like that until maybe age, like I got my first phone age 12, and that was because I was like cycling to school in case I get like mugged or taken or something
exactly
like that, you know? And then like,
and it wasn't a smartphone, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So it's like we're already kind of seeing this in our generation of like, okay, I always need more. I always like, you get a new phone, you're happy for half an hour, then you realise it's pretty much the same as your old phone.
Exactly.
Then you checked out all the new features, now you're on to the next thing. What else can I get, you know? And it's like, these are people that didn't really experience this until they were like maybe 11, maybe 10.
Yeah, bro.
But then like people that are getting that from the age of 2, that's going to be crazy when they grow up. I'm really worried about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Kieran and I have talked about this already, man. Like, Canada is one of the most natural countries in the world, but you still see more kids playing with a device than going outside.
Yeah.
And like Noah's going off about how there's no bike lanes.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you expect your kids to want to go play out in the streets if they're going to get murdered?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's driving like maniacs. So, okay. Tell me about your school system, because I've talked to... Is it the same as it is in the UK? Because I've listened to Andrew talk about like his A-levels and then college and university. What did you go through?
It's similar, but it's not quite the same. So I'm not sure what... I know the A-levels, you pick like 2 or 3 subjects to specialise in.
Yeah.
So in Ireland, you go through primary school, and then it's called secondary school, which would be like high school. I think it's like the end of, I don't know, if it's a middle or junior high or whatever, and then high school.
Yeah.
So it's like those kind of 12 to 17 or 18.
Okay.
So in your primary school, it's just like elementary school. Like, you're not really doing exams. You're like fucking 7. You don't know what's going on. But by the time you're like 13, I think it's 14. My sister's going through it now, so she's going into like what's called the junior cert next year, which is like, we have our junior certificate in the 3rd year of secondary school.
Yeah.
And then our leaving certificate is like the end of our last year, which would be 6th year.
Right.
So our junior certificate is like a mock exam of the leaving certificate. It's just kind of to test everything you've learned over the last few years and kind of give you an idea of what the exam is going to be like at the end. And you usually have like maybe 10, 11 subjects for that. You know,
Okay.
Those exams. And then in your senior cycle, which is your 4th, if you do it, usually you can skip that if you want. It's like a practical year.
Okay.
It's called transition year, and if you want to skip it, you can. So you have 5th and 6th years, your senior cycle.
Yeah.
You can pick up to 9 subjects, but you do roughly 6 generally.
Right.
And then in your leaving cert, you have an exam for each of those, which range depending on the, like, our math exam was 2 papers, like 2.5 to 3 hours each.
Jeez.
And like none of this multiple choice shit that America does. I don't know what's going on there. No wonder you're like, no wonder not North Americans in general. But anyway.
No,
I'm not going to speak to that.
No, you should, man. You need to talk smack about our education system, or it's never going to change.
So yeah. Anyway, in Ireland we do these. So 6, you choose out of your best 6 subjects after those exams. And there's a point system to get into university then, because there's like not enough university places in each. So it's like demand based, so you can get a maximum of 625 points. It's 100 per subject, and then if you do higher level maths, you get an extra 25 points for doing higher level. So it's like, say I get like between 90 and 100, it's called a H1, and that's 100 points. Then a H2 is 80 to 90, that's 88 points. 77 points, 66, and down the line.
Right.
So then you choose your best 6 subjects, and you add up the points, and then you get your like result, and then that's like, say I get like 350 points. Yeah. So like, you're not getting into the top courses in the country, because people that have like 600 points apply to that. They're getting in first. So it's like, the way they do it is, you apply to this course, say there's 30 places available. They go through the list of applicants. They say, okay, who got 625? One person. Okay, that person's getting in. Right. 624, 623. Okay. Until they fill up the 30 places. Right. Then they send you an offer. If you reject the offer, they'll go back in the second round and go down the list again, keep going, like 580, okay, who got 580? This person, they're getting in. Okay. And then, so that's how the college system works. So either you get in depending on your point system. Right. I think I got in with like 5 points to spare, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, it's good in that sense. It makes it a bit competitive. It makes you want to do well.
Yep.
Especially if you know what you want to do.
Yep.
It also kind of punishes those who aren't as apt in school, because it's like, okay, I wasn't the best at English in school. I got a H5.
Mm-hmm.
I only get 55 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's already like 45 out the window, so I can't do 10 of the top courses, even if I want to, you know, even if I can, if I'm really good at medicine and I want to
so
go
it
to
drags down the other ones.
Well, it drags your points down, so it lowers your chances of getting into any course you want, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So it's like you have to really be like overall good at your 6 subjects that you choose, and like 4 of them, I think, or 3 of them are a core subject. So you have to do the Irish language, you have to do English, and you have to do maths.
Okay.
And after that, I'm pretty sure you can choose what you want to do.
Right. And then what did you end up choosing to do? Like, what did you study in college, and what did you walk across the stage with?
In college, I studied, so the course was called BESS.
Yeah.
BESS. It was Business, Economics and Social Sciences.
Right.
So in first year I did like Business, Economics, Sociology and Political Science.
Yeah.
Then in second year I dropped Sociology because like I find it interesting, but like the professors were those like artsy professors that like are just like preaching but not really giving you any information that's going to make you employable. Yeah. So I was like, well, I might as well do political science and draw from social psychology and do it that way. So I dropped economics and sociology in third and fourth year and just specialised into business, some financy things and some marketing, consumer behaviour, stuff like that, and then some political science. Like I did a range of topics in that. So that was really good, and I think that really gave me like the ability to use that outside perspective in situations and just kind of see, okay, why are these patterns going on? Why are these behaviours going on? What's actually happening here? Yeah. Rather than just being in the moment and going, oh, well, that happened. Yeah. Well, why did it happen? You know.
And I also think it'll have helped because it's not like you were in 4 different things. You were seeing it from each side. You were seeing it from the political science side, you were seeing it from the business perspective, you were seeing it from the economic perspective, so it's like you have a more well-rounded view of all of these issues. I think that's extremely interesting because I don't know if it's this way all over the country, but like most universities here, you have a major, which for me is biology, and you have a minor, which for me is physical education or kinesiology, whichever you prefer. And then like I could not double major if I'm taking a minor. So I couldn't have a major in biology and chemistry and then still take a minor. And it's like they lock a certain amount of courses that you can take each semester, a certain amount of like credits you can take each year. So it's crazy because are your universities privately run?
Mostly are privately run.
So at least it's the same there. It's a money pit. Bunch of people just trying to take your money. But like I did learn.
So they're privately run, but the government funds everyone that goes to a certain extent. So
interesting.
The actual college fee each year is like 10,000 for tuition, but the government will pay 7,000.
Holy shit!
So you pay 3,000 tuition a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So your government, unless you like, if you fail and repeat a year or drop out of a year and then go back to it, then you have to pay the full amount. But or maybe the government still pays like a fraction, but not as much. Like you have to pay a lot more. But generally, like I got through my college degree with 12,000 tuition.
Holy shit!
For 4 years. So
that is insane.
Yeah.
And let me tell you right now, I owe the Canadian government $70,000 by the time I walk across the stage.
That's another thing. That's completely fucked up.
You know what's insane is like that's subpar. You know, you go to a school like Texas A&M. Fuck, $150,000. If you're an international student, it's even crazier. I don't know, man.
Like out of state, I know my mom's best friend moved to New York, and she has she has twins and another daughter, and the twins both went to, I don't know if it was University of Virginia or whatever, Virginia State. I don't know what they call it. Whatever. They had to take out a second mortgage on their house just to finance their kids going to college. Like,
that's insane.
How crazy is that?
That's when you look at the system and you're like, hey, education, to me, knowledge is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing in the world. And it's like, am I going to murder a family dynamic to make them pay for it? And America's just like, yes, that's a great idea. So
ridiculous.
All right, so for the first question, Kieran, when it comes to your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health, what makes you happy, bro?
That's a good question, man. And it changes.
Mm-hmm.
It changes depending on the day I'm having.
Fair enough.
It's like, I know what always helps me with my mental health is journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I haven't done it enough here at camp. Like, I've been falling behind, and I've noticed like my mental state being a little bit down when I don't do it, and then I go back to it for a few days, and then up again, and then it goes down again slowly. And it's just like that decluttering your mind. It really is. It's like they say like, if your room's in a mess, you're in a mess, you know. That's your physical space. Your mental space is the same thing. If you don't get that out there, whether it's like, sometimes if I don't have a notepad and pen or a phone or whatever to type, I'll just talk to myself, you know, just talk out loud, because putting it out there does change it. And it just gets it off your chest. It's like, whatever you're doing like that, I don't know, man, like the first month or two I was like, why the fuck am I writing to myself like a man Frank, you know? I feel like I don't know, I feel like an idiot. But then after you get through that bit of like, I just write and shit, you just like, you start to just write, and you're not even like thinking about what you're writing you're half the time. It's just like going. You're writing, and all of a sudden you have this thing that you've figured out that you never knew before. Like, I've figured so many things out about myself just by writing them down, you know, and just talking about them, going, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why am I worried about this? Why am I stressed about this? What's going on? Even just anything I'm stressed about that I can't control, getting it onto a page helps a lot. In terms of physical health, what makes me happy, generally, like, see, especially here when I'm busy like this, I hate doing things where I don't have an immediate end goal. Right. So it's like working out, I can do all day at home when I have time and I can set my schedule, but when it's like I'm getting up at 8 and going to bed at 12 and I have shit all day from 8 a.m. till 8:30 in the evening, then I have like 3 hours during the day where I just want to like hang out with people and chat to the people that are here. So it's like in those situations for physical health, it's like soccer.
Fair enough.
Football, as the real name is. But just to translate to
that's a little dig there, soccer. Just in case you didn't know this.
But like football, like any sport in that sense that has a goal, you know, where I can go, okay, I'm doing this because I am a competitive bastard. Like similar to you, man. Yeah, bro. Tell me like I'm not gonna do something, I'm gonna want to do it. Exactly. And it's like, I'll show you. And it's like anyone that does it and I'm doing something and they think they're doing it better, I'm like, well, fuck you. No, you're not. You might be right now, but that's because I'm not at 100%. Exactly. You know? I'm just giving like 50%, see where everyone else is at. Yeah. So I do feed off other people in that sense. So I think like team sports. I love tennis as well. Golf.
Tennis is so sick, bro.
Yeah, it's like just anything like that where I'm not thinking for an hour during the day, where I'm just like focused on one thing and all I need to do is use my body to do it. Yeah, bro. You know, and during workouts, go ahead. I struggle because it's just like in between those sets when I'm just sitting there, I'm like,
what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. And then I go on my phone and then I'm like doing dumb shit and I'm like, ugh, I need to stop this. So like that really gets me. But yeah, any sport where there's a goal, I love that.
And you must have enjoyed. He told me this already, man. There was this huge pile of mulch that got delivered to our camp, and we needed to put it over this pipe that's like floods water or flows. Oh my god, what am I trying to say? It runs water inside all of the buildings, and it's like if that gets broken, we're fucked. To be honest. So he was on maintenance one week, and he tells me, I told them, this is my mulch pile. Nobody touches the fucking mulch pile, and I'm gonna see how much I can do.
It's just that where like that's a visible metric at least, and it's like those 2 hours where I'm doing something, slowly picking away at it. But the way I was looking at that was more so like, this mulch pile has been sitting in the middle of our camp. Like that was right beside where we gathered before every meal.
Literally in the morning, 3 times a day.
3 times a day. Yeah. Activities go on there. We meet there for certain things, and it's like. Everyone is. This is subconsciously in the back of everyone's mind. Yeah. And everyone was complaining about it that one Friday where we had to do it for half an hour. Yeah. You know, and everyone like no one really knows it, but subconsciously they know that it's there, like.
And they could be doing something.
And they could be doing it, but they're not. And then it's weighing down on them. You know. So the way I was seeing it that week was like I was staff support and maintenance, so I get rid of this mulch pile, that lifts a big burden off everyone's shoulders, you know, and it's all like in that sense, it's like this is an opportunity to show them that like senior staff isn't just messing about, you know. And I feel like that was in the first few weeks, that was a big kind of view, and I was like, well fuck that and fuck you. No, we don't just mess about. I am not here to mess about. I'm actually working, you know. And I don't want to be, I don't care if you just think, okay, Kieran did it, I do not care about that. I did not want the credit. I just wanted it to be gone, and I wanted people to go, phew, I don't have to do that. You know, that's one less thing on my list. So that was it. But then also it was just like, I got into it. You get into a rhythm, and you're just shoveling mulch. You don't even care what you're doing anymore. You listen to some music, you're just zoning out, and it's just that mental space where you're not thinking all the time, because your brain thinks so much. It gets so tiring. And yeah, that's like physical health in that sense is like, you just need an hour, whether it's cycling or running or what it is, where you're not thinking, you're just like doing. You know?
Bro, I genuinely understand, but I didn't even think about it like that. It's crazy that your mind went like that far with it, because of course I am one of those people. Like, I see a problem and I need to solve it. Like the fucking juice boxes. We have a picnic lunch
hurts my head, man.
every Friday, family. And like, so juice boxes are starting to get better. They have paper straws. Great. But the problem is the recycling that we have at camp, it's either bottle recycling or everything goes in the garbage. So when we got the paper juice boxes or paper straws in the juice boxes, people are like, oh, now we can just throw everything in the recycling. I'm an eco warrior. I refuse. Okay? And like, there are grown ass people who live in Canada, who understand our rules, who are still throwing fucking juice boxes in the garbage. So I just put some gloves on and I pick through all of it, because it's like, I see this problem, I'm going to solve it. Somebody else doesn't have to do it, because at some point down the line, it's either going to the landfill, which literally physically hurts my ethics, or somebody who gets paid has to sift through it. Why don't I just do that now? So that's crazy. And I also think what you mean about physical activity, the thing about the weight room is it gives me time to like fully be myself when it comes to like, I can listen to my music and I can like audibly, because I'm a really rhythmic human being, I can sing along or I can move to the beat, and like I don't have to worry about shit. So that's why that works for me. But I get what you mean. Like, if I had 2 hours with the mulch pile, back and forth, slowly watching it go, and you feel good, but you're also like, boom, there's another shovel that somebody doesn't have to do.
Exactly.
You're a good guy, man. I didn't even think about that, bro. That's crazy.
I was low-key pissed when the next week I was on a cabin and I didn't get to do it. I was like...
And then Harry stole it, bro. He jumped right on it.
Fair play to him, man. He killed it, but I was really like, I was so envious of him. I was like, that's mine.
It's my fucking mulch pile.
My mulch pile, man. I don't know, but it was good.
Bro.
It was good for that week.
Yeah, bro. Is there anything you want to say about your spiritual or your emotional health? I know emotional and mental health are very, very similar. So
I think in general, for those things, guitar has helped me so much, man. Like, I think lockdown during COVID, like Ireland had a tough lockdown. We went like, I think it was early October. I don't even know what year it was, man. They just mushed into one. Like, it was just some year. It was awful. Back in the day, whenever the fuck it was, we were in lockdown from like early October till early December. Then the government was like, oh, we're lifting some restrictions for Christmas. Lifted some restrictions into like, instead of level 5, it was level 3 or 2 or whatever. So you could like, you could do a bit, but it was like, you can do something, but you can still fuck off home, you know? And like, then 2 weeks later, the cases went up a little bit. They went back into a lockdown from December, like mid-December, before Christmas, no New Year's gatherings, straight till like May. So it was like 6 months of pretty much straight lockdown. And through that, like, if I didn't have a guitar, because I was working for college, working for work, and sleeping in the same room, in the same space,
24 hours a day.
Pretty much 24 hours a day. And then like, that really does get to me. Like, I hate repetitiveness. I hate like, even sometimes like learning a song on the guitar will piss me off because it gets too repetitive and then I won't want to play it anymore. Just like anything monotonous and repetitive I can't do, because it's like, I'm no longer challenging myself. Why am I doing it? You know? So like, that guitar just really helped me, because it was like, okay, well, you just like, you have this thing where you can always learn something new. You can always challenge yourself. Like no matter if I can perfect this song, I can't perfect this one. You know.
Yeah.
And then you watch someone on YouTube that's been playing for 10 years and they're absolutely killing it, and then you want to play more.
Yeah.
And like, I'd play for like 2-3 hours a day, and that was like it was that, but B, it was also just again clearing your mental head, like your mental space, just like not thinking about anything that's going on. I wasn't caring about COVID cases. I wasn't caring about like what my family's problems are, or what my friends' problems are, or what my problems are. You know, I'm just thinking, okay, well, shit, I'm playing this song, I'm getting into the song, I'm gonna try get the rhythm right, try do that, and it's the same thing, pretty much as physical exercise in that sense, that it's just that space where you're not thinking, you're just in the flow.
Yeah, bro.
And that really helped me, man. I think I would have been in serious
trouble
if I didn't have that. So yeah, and I still do it now. If I'm like at the end of the day when I'm like, fuck, do I want to talk to anyone? You know, I just go take my guitar, sit somewhere, play some guitar, chill out, and that just like it reboots me. You know, it just recharges me. So yeah.
Music is crazy, man. I talked to Noah probably for half of the episode about music. I've said this to multiple people this summer. I would give up every ounce of athletic ability I have to be musically gifted, because while sports does unite people, like the clubs in the UK, like those are your boys. You ride and die for your boys. But it also creates so much division. Yeah. Music at its core is supposed to bring people together. Yeah. So like, for example, this guy that hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to and you'll get to hear from, his name is Harry King. He's one of the most incredible singers I've ever met, man, in real life. Him and Kieran this weekend, they sat on Stephen Avenue in Calgary. How many hours were you guys there?
4 hours. Man.
And they were just fucking, what do you call it? Busking?
Busking, yeah.
Busking? They're just playing songs. They're just singing for the public, man. And it's like, you're walking down Stephen Ave. It's 30 degrees. You just ran into some jackass whose truck is lifted, so he thinks he's the shit, and you're pissed off. And then all of a sudden, you just hear beautiful music. Like, I think it's the most incredible thing in the world. And for me, like, that flow state that you were talking about, it was always basketball until it wasn't anymore. And now it's definitely my podcast. Like, Kieran and I, for my KK present, we made an episode of Trailer Park Boys. So if you sign up for the Patreon, you can watch that, but you have to pay. I'm not giving that shit away for free. Ain't gonna happen.
I'll just give him a bit of money, but he needs it.
Just a little bit. Enough to pay for the podcast, so I don't have to pay out of it from my pocket. Anyways,
that's fair.
And I want you to talk about your experience doing that, because I genuinely want to hear what you feel about that. But we made this episode, and I sat down on Friday night from 8 p.m. to midnight in those 4 hours. I wasn't editing for the full 4 hours, probably an hour and a half, and then the rest of it was just making it up to my standard. And I can just sit down, put jazzy music in the background or something without lyrics so it doesn't interrupt my thought, and just go. You know what I'm saying? And when my friend Kale, who I started this podcast with, him and his brother, when he was editing, he would be like, "Oh, are you done?" And I would be like, "Yeah, bro." "How long did that take you?" "Like an hour and a half." He's like, "What?" Which is just different types of people, you know what I'm saying? So, but seriously, we definitely have to talk about housing, but I want to talk about the Trailer Park Boys episode first. How was that experience for you?
That was fun, man. And I think it was like, for me, coming from Ireland, and I'm sure Noah can speak to this as well, like being at this camp all week without being able to say the word fuck, shit, or dickhead or something like that, it's tough, man. It's like, and it's never meant in a malicious way. Generally, like I never called someone like, okay, I do with my mates,
right?
But I never
that's
like
different.
I never like maliciously or intentionally say like, oh, you're a prick, you know, like unless someone like hits me, right, or like does fucks with me in some like serious way. But generally, it's just like, oh, this fucking thing, you know, and it's like, it's just a figure of speech that I use in an everyday language, and it just makes my day a bit better. Right. It's like, it's just it's basically emphasizing what I'm saying, you know, and it's just used in my general conversation. So I'm not doing that all week is draining and just not particularly enjoyable, you know, when I have to constantly talk.
Censor yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I feel like I'm living in China half the time. And it's just like, it's just grim. Yeah, so, bro. Like, just being able to stand on camp and go like, fuck you dickweed, and stuff like that. Like, that was really just like therapeutic for me. And
bro.
like then just with like 3 other good people just having some fun, everyone's like acting, everyone's just having a bit of crack, seeing what they can come up with, just doing some improv stuff on the side and then acting out this thing. It was like definitely one of the best experiences I've had on camp. It's probably the best 2 hours I've had in this place.
That's what I like to hear.
It was really fun, man. I really enjoyed it.
And honestly, for me, man, I was watching the episode, but I was also watching Mark. And just like the way he responded to it, I think he finally understood. It's like, man, I see you. I see every one of these 60 people that is here. The work that they put in, the medic, for example, I couldn't do that. I physically could not do that. And I know that about myself. So being able to reward somebody in that way, and like you said, just have fun with the boys, man. It was incredible. And I don't know, I think the amount of self-sacrifice that is required to come and do what we do, like Kieran said, we work 12-hour days, 5-6 days a week. If you're working with kids between 7 and 9, you're guaranteed at least 4 a.m. wake up.
Oh, yeah.
If not more. Like, especially with the youngest group of girls, there's this one girl here who has been working that basically the entire time she's been a counselor. And she told me last week she got woken up all 6 days. I could not physically handle that, bro.
So I love the patience, and it is such like working with kids is one of the it's one of the most humbling things I've ever done. It's also like very rewarding, but it also just pisses you off. You know, it teaches you either to go home because you don't have the patience, or to learn patience. You know,
exactly.
And like, it is such a sacrifice of a summer. It's like this is every day, 5 days a week. That's 60-hour weeks. At least, and then you're doing monitoring shifts. You're basically on like all the time because you're awake like 6 a.m. sometimes with a kid, or some kid does this, some kid does that. You have to stay extra hours. You have to talk to them about homesickness. It's like that's at least a 70-hour week, let's say. Yeah, bro. For the wage we're getting, that's like nothing.
For us, it's a lot better. Obviously, like I'm making, I would say I'm making good money. Because like it's livable. By the end of the summer, I'll have increased my bank account enough that I could go back to school and be comfortable for the year. But for you guys are literally like paying to be here because they got to pay for whatever food on the weekend, whatever housing accommodations on the weekend, etc., etc. So that's why it's like, for me, I see it as an obligation to be able to do what I can for you guys. Like when Jackson and I made that meal, and shout out to Jackson for letting us use his house, because my house is this big. But making that meal for 20 people, that is something that I could do one time that eases your pocket a little bit. Come on. So.
And it really did.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's it's like weekends. You get off Friday evening, all you want to do is go out, blow off some steam, or like go, even if you don't want to, generally you kind of have to because you want to hang out with some people, or
and
you
they
don't have a choice because you're staying at someone's house and they're going out, so you're like, I'm not going to sit in this dude's house and just be fucking Billy Loner over here, you know, and just sit here. So you kind of have an obligation to do what other people are doing. And then like, especially this year I feel it more, but also like, you're just paying for 3 meals a day for 2 days. That's at least like $120 if you're lucky. That's like if you're eating Tim's all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're just getting unhealthy.
Plus the camp food, man, it's not good for your gut health. It's not that the food here isn't good. It's just that it's not what you're biologically used to. Like, you grow up with real cheese, with real sausage, and then you come here and eat all of our North Americanized nonsense. It's crazy.
And I think it's mainly, it's not even North America. Like, I think like if I lived here and I ate like my own food 6 days a week, I'd be fine. It's more so that like I have no control over what I'm eating. I'm getting, like, the portions have increased, so I'm getting enough of it. I'm just not getting enough nutrients. You know, it's like some days it'll just be like 1 meatball and some pasta, and you're like,
and this is
great for a 7-year-old. But when you're 21 or 22 and you're like still growing, you're trying to like exert all this energy, you're responsible for these kids 12 hours a day, and then you're eating 1 meatball, and then they're like, oh, I wonder why everyone's getting sick, I wonder why everyone's burnt out. It's like, well, maybe if you address the nutrients we're getting, no, like, even if they, like, I don't even care if they offer us a fucking multivitamin in the mornings, you know, something like that would just add to your day, make you a bit healthier, make you a bit less tired and fatigued, and and feeling like shit, and it would just go such a long way, and I don't see why they don't do it.
Yeah. But to be fair, like our staff meals when we get here on Sunday, we had this salad on Sunday, and I had 2 full plates of it because it's like fresh nuts, fresh fruit, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and feta cheese. Come on, stop it. Stop it. So
I think it's more so it's not their fault necessarily. It's like you can only work with what you've got and eating Cisco food, which if anyone from Cisco is listening, fuck you, because that food that you're serving, or that is sad excuse for food that you're trying to serve to people, oh my god, that is disgusting, man. Ground beef that comes in like packages, and chicken strips that are about 2% chicken, man. I've had more fat and milk than I have chicken in my chicken. It's like, what's going on, you know? But yeah, man, and then you can only work with what you've got. So the kitchen's doing a good job in that sense, and they also have to cater to 7-year-olds who aren't going to eat anything that tastes like anything because the taste buds have none.
I had a kid, we were eating Old Dutch ketchup chips. These are spicy. It took everything in my power not to smack that kid in the face.
That's
like,
crazy.
come on.
Yeah.
Alright, so the second question. We've been going on, bro. This is elite. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. Kieran, what gets you through your worst days, bro?
That's a very good question, man. And honestly, a lot of the time it's being alone.
Fair?
It's like, if I'm with people, it's great when I'm having a good time, but if I'm having a bad day and I'm with people, they're just stopping me from figuring out what's wrong.
Right.
You know? They're like, and this is just me personally, like I know I have to work on this because it's me seeing them as an obstacle instead of seeing them as a support mechanism, you know?
Right.
And like flicking that switch is not as easy as it sounds for me. It might be for other people and other people just do that, but for me it's like, I just want to be alone, so I don't infect the people around me with that negativity that I have that day, because it's like a COVID infection. It's like, I'm around you for 10 minutes with negativity, all of a sudden you're more negative, you know?
And it can change the whole day.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't want to be around the people I love when I'm that negative, because it brings them down, and it just brings me further down, you know? So it's not helping me, so I don't need to be there, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of the time, especially at camp when we're living in this close community, I struggle to find that time where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take this break. And I do notice myself taking it out on certain people, you know?
Yeah, bro.
And I hate that about myself. Well, not that I hate it, but I do realise that I need to change that about myself, you know? But it is just, for me, being alone, just being able to, like, I don't know, if I want to shout and hit a wall, I want to be able to do that, you know?
Exactly.
Just to take out whatever it is, or, like, write and just get it out and then sit there and sulk for an hour. Like, if I want to be a bitch about it, let me be a bitch about it, but let me do it alone, you
exactly.
know? So I think that's really what gets me through.
No, and I get what you mean about that last part, bro, because I'm going to take this time right now to apologize to anybody who has been on the other side of me yelling, because that is, I have tried my hardest to keep it contained, but when it's fucking 7:30 on Friday and we're still cleaning and all I'm hearing is, I don't want to do that. Neither do I, you dumb shit. But if we don't get it done, I don't get to go home. You don't get to go home. So, like, I genuinely apologize to anybody who's been on the other side of it, because, like, you're like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". I'm like 6'4". If you're a 17-year-old, you're fresh to camp, and you're all of a sudden being screamed at, and it's like, what is going on? I get that. That's terrifying. 100%. So I'm there with you. I need to work on that. But I also would like to say that I don't think isolating yourself to a certain extent is always a bad thing, because exactly what you said. Me, for example, I'm a fixer. Like, if you come to me with a problem, I'm gonna try and give you 6 different solutions to try and solve it. But when you're dysregulated, that's not what you need. What you need is to find a way to get yourself back to at least homeostasis, you know, for lack of a better term, so that you can move past the problem, think through the problem. So you stay in a hostel every weekend. We live in cabins with 2 to 4 other people every single day. It's like, I'm not trying to hike to a mountain to get my solace, to get my alone time. Man. So
you go in the morning, you wake up at 8, you go for a shit, and someone's staring at you, you know? And it's like,
I'm not trying to chat to you this early, bro.
There's no time where I'm on my own. It's just like, it's actually mental. I was thinking about it. I'd say there's about 10 minutes a day where you're actually on your own, like, and not looking at anyone, you know, like
and
there
you
might
need
be a
to
time,
find it.
yeah, there might be a time where you're on your own but you can still see people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like you really need to just like go out of your way to find that alone time, which is one thing I really struggle with at camp, to be honest.
Yeah, and them just being around is enough to set me off, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very adamant about my personal space bubble.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm working with 8-year-olds who don't understand that I don't want you right beside me all day,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like I'm on the deck, I have my headphones in, and I'm journaling,
Yeah.
nobody's there, and then somebody walks out, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But also, this is public space, so it's
Yeah.
fine, but fuck you.
Yeah, and it's not their fault at all. But in your head in that space, you're just so pissed off. And I do it too. Like, I notice, even with like people looking at me,
Mm-hmm.
it can be something like that. It's like they're across the room, they're just looking at me. I'm like, stop fucking looking at me.
Yeah,
What the fuck
exactly.
are you looking at? You know?
Because
And
it's like, if there's
in
something on my face, tell me, then stop staring at me.
yeah. Fuck off, turn around, go your merry way. You know? Just like, I don't know, man. It's just, and I think it is just that those days where you're in those negative spaces,
Yeah.
and then anything gets to you. So
Yeah.
it's on you as much as like it's not on them. But it's so hard for me to just like make that vocal when I'm in one of those bad spaces. You know? 'Cause
bro.
I'm just like, I want them to understand, but I don't want to unleash the wrath of pissed off me on them. You know. So I'm like, I can't say it to them because I'm like, it's just gonna sound retarded. If I say it. It's like, I'm gonna tell them, stop looking at me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're gonna be like, why?
What?
I look at you every day. What's going on? Like,
What's the problem?
Yeah. And you're just like, well, I don't know what the problem is. Just stop fucking looking at me.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Last
definitely
week,
alone time.
on Thursday, like, I'd had a phenomenal week, and then one thing happened on Thursday, and I was told a couple of things that like made me question everything, because like, this is my future. I want to work with kids. I want to be a teacher. So I don't think people grasp how much their criticism or constructive criticism affects me. And I definitely know that the 12-year-olds who are emotionally dysregulated and just saying what they feel fully, they don't understand how much I attach to those comments. So like, I was completely dysregulated for the closing campfire last week, and I had 8 people check in on me within the span of fucking 5 minutes. And I said the same thing to all of them. No, you can clearly tell I'm not fine, but you can't solve my problem. I'm a 22-year-old man. I'm going to go talk to the boss lady who can actually solve my problem. And after I have that conversation with the boss lady, everything's fine. Like, it's okay. I get it. I've been there, you know. That's fine. But then I had to go and explain to one of those people, who just happens to be a 17-year-old woman, that it's like, it's not that I don't want your helpful ear. It's that you literally can't help me solve the problem. So whatever you think about the situation, I appreciate it, but like, it cannot help me, right? So
And it's also just the like, it's the like repetitiveness. That's another thing, and I don't want to be slating camp because I really do enjoy this place.
this
and
place
it's
is
great,
a miracle,
it really
genuinely.
is, it really is. But it's just sometimes it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm visibly pissed off. Like, because when I'm pissed off, like, I don't hide it. You know?
can see.
You can see it
I'm
when
the
I'm
same
either
way.
tired or annoyed, whatever it is. But like 8 people asking me how I'm doing every morning or every day, that it's just like, no, stop. Like, worry about yourself. I'll worry about me. If I need something, I'll come tell you.
Exactly.
You know?
That's the thing.
If I'm not talking, it's because I don't want to talk. It's not because I'm waiting for someone to ask me to talk. It's because I do not want to talk right now. So it's that, like, that level of just intimacy that everyone has in everyone else's personal life at this place is like, right now I just need you to shut up and leave me alone, and I'll be good in 4 hours or 2 hours or 10 minutes, whatever it is. But right now I just need to not talk to anyone, otherwise I'll be talking to you.
I get exactly what you mean, because it's like, you don't want to unleash the leprechaun, I don't want to unleash like the whatever it is, man. I think the biggest thing is, though, that we know how to communicate those things. Like, there's certain people in the world who is like, they'll shut down and they'll wait for somebody to say, are you doing okay? That's not me, bro. And that'll never be me. If I have a problem, especially with myself, I'll find a way to solve it, but let me find a way to solve it.
Exactly,
So.
man. It's just tough to find that balance between who needs it and who doesn't, because you just like, when you're in that kind of like, it's like a microcosm of society that we're in, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I'm meant to be nice to everyone, I'm meant to be kind to everyone, this is how I'm kind, so I'm going to impose this on everyone, and it's like, that's not your fault at all, because, like, okay, well, I'm not even going to get into that, like, at what point is it on you to know what the other person needs, you know? It's like, to what degree is that, and when do you need it? But at the same time, it's like, okay, you're a person that needs to talk to someone when you're angry, so you just go, okay, well, they're angry, I'll talk to them, you know? And it's like, I'm not that type of person, I don't do it, I've noticed that, I'm just not this, I don't know whether it's just Canadian or what it is, but it's like, everyone always asking whether you're okay, it's like, I don't really fucking care. And sometimes it's just like, I have enough shit to deal with, you have enough shit to deal with, unless there's something like, if there's anything serious, always come talk to me, I have no problem, but if it's something like, oh, well, like, this person did this today, I'm angry at it. It's like, okay, well, that's something you need to deal with. That's not something I need to ask you about, you know? Unless it's going to affect my life or anyone else's life for the next 2 weeks. If it's going to be over in 24 hours, just shut up and deal with it, you know?
Yeah, and it's not like we don't take the time to vent. That's what the car ride back to Calgary is for on Friday. Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's very interesting that we can have grown up literally on other sides of the world, completely different environments, and see eye to eye on so many things, but then have such polarizing views on other things. Like, come on, I know how much football means to you. Somebody offers me to play soccer, I will laugh them in the face and then run away, man. It's not for me, you know what I'm saying? But okay, let's talk about this. So, I had a conversation with my mom early in the year about how I'm never going to buy a house. Shit's just not going to happen. The way the market is going and the way our salaries are not going up at that same rate, it's not going to happen. And you were talking about it, mortgage. It's literally death's grip. Or what did you say, debt's grip?
Death's grip in Latin,
So, like, for me, man, I want to be comfortable. And, of course, rent is tough, because you never know when rent is going to go up. But the idea of buying a house, no bueno. Maybe buying a property and building a house, but it's just, like, not feasible for me. So talk to me about how the situation is developing in Ireland, and if you could ever see yourself, like, owning.
It's shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it's very limited space. Like, we have great space, but it's limited. So it's like, especially the hubs. So the way it worked out, like, we were colonized for years, and that obviously influenced how our country developed in general. So it was a lot of, like, rural areas, very little kind of cities and stuff like that. And then Dublin was like, well, it was started by the Vikings back in fuck knows when, like a while ago. And it in Irish it's called Bolia Oha Clia. And it just means, like, Blackpool. Because it was like, actually I forget why, but for some fucking reason these Vikings called it Blackpool, and we turned it into Bolia Oha Clia. And so, like, when Ireland did begin to develop, Dublin was the closest kind of hub to Europe. And, like, we only developed because of the common agricultural policy and the common fisheries policy that the EU brought to us. So when we joined the EU in, like, 1972 or 3, I don't know exactly when, but it was one of those years, and we joined it, and, like, everything kind of went through Dublin, because it was like, the West Coast is, like, it's great, it's close to America, but it's fucking miles, it's the Atlantic, you know, you're not getting anywhere for a while. So Dublin was just close to the UK, which we had a lot of trade with, and close to Europe, which we had a lot of trade with. So everything kind of revolved around that. All the companies that eventually moved to Dublin, because it was just this kind of, like,
it
spiral.
made sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this snowball effect, and then everything around Dublin became expensive. And that's another thing I'll get into in a minute. But, like, rural Ireland, the West Coast barely had, like, not great broadband or connectivity, stuff like that. No real, like, there was road built maybe definitely not before the 2000s. Like, I remember even me as a child going up to Dublin would be like this back ass road, where it was just like a national road that was winding through fields and stuff like that, and
it doesn't even feel like you're supposed to be driving on the road.
It's like you're not getting a heavyweight lorry down that road, you know, you're just not. So
that's an 18-wheeler for those of you who are listening. I learned that.
A big truck. Although your trucks are not our trucks. Our truck is like, a truck in Ireland is anything with more than, like, 6 wheels.
Okay.
It's like, you don't have it's called a Jeep.
Right.
So a Jeep is like a 4-wheel dickhead car for anyone that has a small genitalia and thinks they need bigger. You know. Yeah. So they get a lifted truck, whatever. But we call it a Jeep because we're normal.
Okay.
But anyway,
another dig, just in case you're wondering.
Just a little one. Just killing the planet one truck at a time, eh?
That's what I'm saying.
So, like Dublin built up, and then we had this boom. We had like a housing bubble that started because of mortgage-backed securities. So it started in America. I don't know if you ever watched The Big Short, the movie.
Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah. So that whole thing where it's like you buy debt off people, so you're buying their risk. Basically, you're betting that they're not going to default on their loan. If they default on the loan, you lose your money.
Right.
So the banks just figured this out. This is a great way to make money. This all started. That was great. In Ireland, then, like, real estate investment became big. It was like great to invest in all this shit, but a lot of American venture capitalist firms came in, bought up all our housing. Like, there's so many derelict buildings in central Dublin that are just not used, haven't been used since like 2007 because some venture capitalists decided, I'll buy this. The price is going to keep rising because it's central Dublin.
Right.
And then, like, there was this thing where it just keeps going up and it keeps going up and no one's using it. And there's such limited space in Dublin and around Dublin because it's such a small country that, like, it's like a bubble, but it's not going to burst because it's always going up because people need somewhere to live.
Exactly.
It's like a necessity, and people want to live in Dublin because they want to live in like cultural hubs and like just
populated areas,
metropolitan areas. Exactly. So that was one problem. Then so in Ireland there's a big like, it's like a hive mind that you need to have a house. Okay. It's like everyone has a house at some point in their lives that stays in Ireland. Right. Pretty much. Like, it's very rare that you stay renting or stay in an apartment. Right. Like, some people buy apartments, but it's usually like a secondary thing or like a temporary thing or just to rent it. Okay. So most people buy, no one really rents. So the rent prices are crazy because all these venture capitalist firms own it and are not using it or are using it but just going, okay, well, we'll rent it at this price, going up. Like, in Ireland, it's like, for my student accommodation in a flat with 5 other people, so 6 people in the flat altogether, shared kitchen, I have my own bathroom and a little bed. Okay. It's like maybe as wide as the door, a bit longer than this room, and I just have my bed there. Okay. And it's like €1,000, maybe a bit less, like 900 and something euro a month, which is like, in Canadian, that's like 1,300 Canadian a month. Yep. So they're getting this, and that's like subsidized student accommodation. Like, that's cheap. So like, I know my friend was in uni and he was trying to rent a place in Dublin, trying to get a place. He had to go for interviews to see if they'd let him in, because it's like, that's how selective it's getting now. It's like, are they sure they're going to be able to pay? Are they sure? Like, the renters can be so selective with who they're picking because there's just so many people are looking for housing. Yeah. It's happening in Berlin as well. Like, in Berlin now, to get a place, you need to have contacts, and even then it's like struggling. Like, there's a girl that my best friend knows from Berlin who was trying to get a place in Berlin, can't get it. That's crazy.
So, I was talking to Josie on the way up here, and she's like, there's so many students in Edinburgh who are homeless. Yeah. A university student does not have somewhere to live. Yeah, like, come on.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
So Europe, in that sense, just because it's so much smaller, and I don't know, in Ireland especially, we don't build up as much. Right. So it's not like we have these 40-story buildings. Like, I think our tallest building is like maybe 20-something stories, and that's like that's quite a lot bigger than any of the other buildings. And generally, they're not residential. Right? So it's like, we don't build up, we build out. Yeah. That's a big problem. Then you have like people, like some of the houses in Dublin now, like small houses that would have been generational, that are like not great parts of Dublin, pretty shit, like likely to get stabbed at some point in your life if you live there. It's like, those places are now going for over €1 million. So it's like $1 million. I know my auntie who owns a house now. This is a nicer area. It's called Sandyford, and it's like maybe 30 minutes from the city centre, and it's like a two or 3 bed home, definitely over $1 million now, probably $1.5 million.
It's literally a crime.
It's a crime.
That's a crime.
It's crazy. So like, the amount of debt, and I don't know, man. It's crazy.
If you don't win the lottery, you can't buy a house.
Yeah.
That's basically where we're at, man, to be honest. So, I don't know. I think it's crazy because, like you said, it's a necessity. Food, water, and shelter.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Maybe light, but even still, maybe light.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Alright, final question. So, in the last 6 months, is there anything in particular that you're extremely appreciative for, that you want to put out into the world? And then in the coming 6 months, of the things that you know about your life that are happening, is there anything that you're dreading, you're worried about, that you want to talk about, just get off your shoulders?
Yeah. In the last 6 months, definitely my dissertation, my thesis.
Yeah.
That thing nearly killed me, man.
Fair enough.
Like, the amount of words I had to write and the competitiveness I put into my work, it's like, I knew I wanted to be better than the other people in my thesis group, and I knew they had good projects, great projects. Like, some of theirs were really interesting to read, and like really cool. So me sitting there, and like, I'm so competitive, but I'm also such a procrastinator when it comes to big projects like that. Like,
bro.
I just cannot bring myself. I don't know whether, I think it's like an efficiency thing or something. It's like, I can't bring myself to think about a problem that's 2 months away.
Right.
You know?
Right.
If I know I can do it in 3 weeks. Like, those 3 weeks, I'm going to hate my life.
But you can
I'll
do it.
I'll get it done. And I'll do it to the best of my ability, and I'll do it. So I had to submit it in like March. Didn't start it until like, I went on like 3 holidays in January. 3 holidays. I went to Barcelona, I went to Toulouse, and I went to Germany.
That sounds so sick.
And it was a great time. I do not regret it at all. But then February was the least favourite month of my existence. I was sitting there at my computer all day, and I hate that. I hate being inside generally, and I hate just always being on a computer or technology. You know, I want to experience the world, not experience a simulated world.
Yeah.
So that really hurt me, and like, I don't know, getting through that, and then getting I got a first class honours in that thesis. So
congratulations! Come on,
just getting that result. Because I knew I was like, okay, I'm getting a 2-1, I'm getting a second class honours, and then I got that first, and I was like, fuck yeah, it's just like, it's paid off, you know?
Yeah.
So that, like, I'm appreciative of my own path through university, you know, where I started from the first year. That first essay I wrote, if I read that now, I'd probably want to hang myself, you know? But then, coming from there all the way to writing a 10,000 word piece that makes sense, is coherent enough for someone who professionally studies and researches political science, and an external examiner to go, yeah, that's worth the first class honours. Yeah. Which is like, that was really like a breakthrough moment for me, where I realised yeah, man, it was worth it. And in the next 6 months, to be honest, I'm mostly worried that I won't have the money to go out and travel. Right. Because of this, mainly because of this job, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to blame it on this job, but mainly because of my decision to come here. I'm not going to have a very good financial situation, when I get home. I'm still... Actually, let me add on to the appreciative part, because coming out of college with zero, just on zero, is the best present my parents have ever given me. You know, that is they've supported me. I did work a job for 3 years of college, so it wasn't like they've been feeding me money. I did my own thing as much as I could. I paid my own rent, I paid my own tuition. But just coming out on zero and having their support there, knowing that I'd come out on zero, that was crazy for me. But yeah, back my financial situation will be maybe fuck all. Yeah. Basically, less than 4 figures definitely.
You're gonna have to work.
I'm gonna have to go back, get a job before I go traveling. So that's the biggest thing on my mind. I thought I'd come here, maybe save up some money and go, but it's not going to turn out that way. So that's one thing I'm worried about, but at the end of the day, I'll figure it out. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. So I'm not too worried about that.
And like I said earlier, to be fair, you are traveling right now. You're working, but you are traveling. And that's why the weekends are so important to me, and I know they are for you. It's it killed me when you were it was week 2, and you're I've sat on top of a fucking hill and talked to people for the last 3 weeks. You come to Canada and you just sit on a hill and talk to people. What the hell is going on? And I was I get it. I get it. I genuinely get it.
It is, man. It's it's I'm traveling, but this is just my designated traveling spot. You know, this little 1 kilometer radius that we have, where you go on an out trip, you're still within that 1 kilometer radius. You go on, you go on a walk in the evening, chances are you're still there. So I was it's like a little pocket I've been designated to be able to explore.
Yeah.
And I think now that it's my second year, it's becoming a bit repetitive, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on. You know? So in that sense,
it makes sense. But like, even if you hiked Moose Mountain, you could see camp from the top of Moose Mountain. So I get exactly what you're saying.
Man.
So I honestly think, man, for me, I get exactly what you're saying. It's different because I have not written like my final year.
Yeah.
Once I've gotten my references back from my 5-week practicum at the junior high and my 9-week at the high school, and I have like a certified teacher saying, yes, you can do your job, it'll be fine. But like, for example, I just finished coaching a full year of basketball at one of the biggest schools in Edmonton, and we came first in, like, we won the city final in the Div 2, so that was a lot of fun.
That's sick.
And like, having a coach who, his name is Dave Youngs, this guy has changed my life, and Ryan Dunkley, I've known him since I was 15. They've got probably collectively 60 years of basketball experience, and I'm talking like Dave Youngs was one of the best basketball players when he was playing. And him sitting me down and after we won saying, if you want to be a teacher, you're going to be phenomenal at that. Like, if that's what you want to do, it's going to be great. Yeah. And then even still, like, I'm taking this week in the office. They gave me that so that I can prep for Namaste. I dropped my laptop on Heather's desk today, and she was like, this is, like, really detailed. And I was like, you're giving me, like, a huge responsibility. Not only am I going to accept it, I'm going to excel at it. Because, like, people don't understand how much this shit means to me, bro. So I think that kind of recognition from people that you genuinely look up to, it changes everything.
And it's just, like, I know internally that I can do it. But just, like, sometimes, it's like, not anyone. I don't care if I walk out and Bob tells me, like, oh, you're doing a good job.
Good job.
Like, cheers, mate, but, like,
you don't have to tell me that. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, when it's someone, and it's something that you've been working really hard on, or it's something that's really close to you and, like, really means a lot to you, and then you have someone who's either done it or has a lot of experience in it and, like, is great at it, telling you, like, you can do this, you know? It's just, like, that reinforcement that you need, you know? And I think that's really gratifying in that sense.
And I think I've had a couple of conversations with other people about that. Like, I do need external reinforcement when it comes to, yes, you're doing well, yes, you can do this, but exactly what you said. If it doesn't come from somebody valuable, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, like, valuable to the skill that I'm doing.
In the context.
Right? Then it's like, that feels like a hollow compliment. It feels like you feel like you have to afford that to me. If you think I'm doing a shitty job, then tell me. You know, like, I'll take the good and the bad with the same amount of like care. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, all right. We're gonna end on a lighter note because he says he wants to talk to me about stories. So I'm gonna let you just start, and then I'll ping off of you. And then after that, we can outro and then get on with our nights, bro.
Sweet, man. Yeah, so I wanted to write this actually in one of the things in the KK, but I didn't get a chance to. So, like, one thing I think a lot about, because I studied business, was like stories in the sense of advertisements and marketing, and like what people relate to and why they relate to it, and then why they'll go out of their way to choose a certain brand over another brand that might even be better. It might have longer lasting products or, like, better tasting food or whatever it is, you know, but they'll still choose this one because of the story they told. And it is, I was reading about one dude again, you know what I say about fucking citations, like, I'm not your mother, but fucking go get your own citation, you know.
Look that
I'm
shit
not
up
in college
yourself.
anymore. I'm not doing that shit unless a professor tells me. But, like, I was reading about this guy who was studying all the, like, kind of not culturally relevant, culturally important and foundational stories from across history, like biblical stories, stories from the Quran and everything like that, from Hinduism, Buddhism, all the religions, non-religious stuff, like mythology, and, like, all these stories that were formed thousands of years ago and didn't have any connection to each other. So like some random cunt called whatever in Asia writing a story, and then some dickhead in Ireland going, yeah, I'll sit down today and I'll write a story. Never had a connection before, and they write a story, and what he found was common in them was the kind of foundation of what every marketing story, what every blockbuster movie, action movie, hero movie, whatever you're thinking, they all have this like structure to them.
Yeah.
And it starts off with, like as we were saying, the hero archetype. So it starts off with the hero, so it doesn't actually have to be a hero. It'd just be the protagonist.
Whoever
of the
you're
story.
rooting for.
Exactly, yeah. So this person starts off in whatever state they're in, doing whatever. What will I use? I'll talk it through this fucking cup of tea, right? So I've got a cup of tea here. We'll use this. So this cup of tea is dirty.
Okay.
Right? He likes being dirty. He's with all the other dirty mugs. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I love being dirty, you know. That's the way I've always been. So this is your hero. He's in the way. He's living life. So you're introduced to this character. You move on then to the stage where they're no longer in their comfort zone. So something happens, either an event takes place or they change environments of some sort, and now they're in this place and they're always hesitant. They're like, fuck this, I'm going back to where I came from, you know. They either can't take on the challenge, or they don't have any interest in the challenge, whatever it is. They're doing that, they're like, fuck it, no. So they go back. Then through that, something changes in the hero. So something, whether it's they realize something, or they're given this new ability, or they figure out something about themselves, and that changes it. That's the midpoint where you're like, okay, now this fucking thing. So the way they explained it is like, there was one dude I was reading, Jordan Peterson, I think, you know him?
Yes.
And like a lot of things don't, I know if some listeners are gonna be like, fuck, he just mentioned that name, you know.
No, but like you need to listen to him. He is a very intelligent dude. There's a reason why he's been employed by the University of Toronto for so long. Continue.
So like he talks a lot of shit in some things, and a lot of things I don't agree with, but it was like, so you're in this initial stage where you need to go somewhere, you need to make a journey. You fall into chaos, so you no longer have a clue what's going on, everything. So that's the uncomfort zone. It's like you're no longer in your comfort zone. You're just out in the middle. You don't have a clue what's fucking going on. Then you find something. So that change in the person, you find something that's gonna help you get out of this chaos and restore order in your life or in the world to you. Yeah. So they always do this. They come back. They rise up to the challenge. They beat the challenge. They make the whatever it is, make the final play in the playoffs of the NBA or the NFL, or they beat the dragon. They whatever it is. They always rise to the occasion, excel, and then at the end, after that, there's the calm, and they go back to where they came from with a new perspective on that place, you know. And this is the hero archetype, and it's like you relate to it. You can relate to it because everyone's life is that. It's like at some point in your life, something's gonna happen. You're gonna descend into that chaos, you know. You're not gonna have a clue what's going on, but sometimes that chaos is needed to restore order, because the order you restore is way better than the order you had before. Right. So it's that thing that you can relate to, and whoever, I fucking forget what the dude is who invented propaganda, but he realized this, and he was basically a marketer at the start. He wasn't like doing it for propaganda. But like most regimes feed off this. It's those relatable stories that like, whether it's used to advocate for nationalism or advocate for, I don't know, a Snickers bar, you know? Right. It's the same structure to the story. It's this hero, whether it is the Snickers bar or someone eating a Snickers bar, whatever the fuck it is, it goes through these stages. Like with this cup of tea, we have this dirty tea cup, and it's sitting there, and it's having a great time with all its mates. Fucking Bob, Josh and Harry are bopping around, they're having a great time. Then all of a sudden, someone takes the mug gets transferred to the dishwasher. All of a sudden you have these fucking, it goes dark. You have this steam, you have this hot water, the cup's like, fuck, what's going on? I have no clue what's going on. What is this shit? You really invested in this, you're like, fuck, what's going on with the cup, you know? All of a sudden it stops, it's quiet. And then the door opens, the light comes in through the steam, and you see this glowing ceramic with its like fucking the beauty, the sheen back on it. The drawer gets pulled out, and this cup's like, fuck man, clean bro. Yeah, bro. This is great. I feel great, man. Look at those beautiful ceramics on my ass, you know. just absolutely loving life. My handle has never been this spick and span.
Yeah, bro.
I'm living life, and then goes back to the clean cups, and he's like, "Fuck, this is great, man. You should try this. All the other dirty cups need to get in there, man.
Yeah.
You know." And you go back to this, so it's the same thing. And when that thing is in the dishwasher, you're invested in it. That's where it gets you. You're really invested into this. Then it comes out, it does whatever to get to that stage of like higher order.
Yep.
And whether in marketing, that's like, okay, you're here, you eat a Snickers bar, you're here. You know that, like, take a break, have a Snickers. Yeah. You know that?
You're not who you are when you're hungry.
Yeah, or no, take a break, have a Kit Kat. That's the same thing. It's like, have a break and have a Kit Kat. Now I'm going to be better. You're not you when you're hungry. Oh, I'm hungry. I need a Snickers to get to this place. You know?
Exactly.
And it's like that thing is it's just invested in our subconscious because our lives are that. They're a reflection of it.
Yeah.
And one dude I was listening to, I'll shut up in a minute.
No, it's okay. You're going off and I'm loving every minute of it.
There's one dude that I listened to. He has a podcast as well. And he was saying, like, he was talking about this at one point, and he was like, he thinks it's a reflection of day and night,
right,
of our cycle of life, because it's like you have this darkness where you're like at night, whatever, you have this like stage, then all of a sudden you have dawn, and it's like dawn doesn't know what the fuck it is. It's like, am I night, am I day? I don't know.
Right.
But then you change into day and you get this light, and I don't know where he was going with it, to be honest. He was having a bit of a hot take on that one.
Okay.
And when I was listening to it, I was like, doesn't really make sense, but I like it. So I was like, it's reflected in everything we do.
Yeah, bro.
Is basically where he was coming from. Is like, you're always going up. I don't know, you crash your car, boom, down into chaos. You don't know what's going on, but you come back from it. I don't know, you get it fixed. You find out there's a light switch that didn't work, and they fixed the light, and now you have 2 front lights, and you have a fucking new door. You know, and you're back in order.
Exactly.
But you go into that chaos, and you come back out of it in order. And like, when you're marketing to people, it's that between chaos and order. Whatever you put in there that brings you from chaos to order is what you're marketing.
Right.
And that's what really relates to people, and that's what makes the great stories great. Like, I don't know, Iron Man, every movie, he's in the start, whatever, something happens, oh no, I need to go solve this, boom, 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 gets beaten up first, and then he's like, fuck, my suit's broken, whatever, you know, fixes his suit, works on it, boom, all of a sudden he goes back out, fucking kills this thing that's like 200 feet tall and weighs about 70 tons, and it's like, bro, oh yeah, this is realistic. And then after, there's order again, and he's back in the place, and everything's better, you know.
Yeah, bro.
And it's like, whatever that obstacle is that you need to overcome, whatever you use to overcome that is what you're marketing.
I think the biggest thing for me, man, is that exactly what you said. My mind went immediately to 2 different things. The first one is music movies. So, like, Rocket Man, that new Elvis movie, I haven't even seen it. I guarantee you I have seen it, because I've seen Rocket Man. I've seen Bohemian Rhapsody. They're really talented. They have a weird name. Then they have to change their name. Then they get famous, and they have a good agent who's with them. Ditch that good agent for the slimy guy. Slimy guy steals your money or puts you on drugs, ruins your life. At the end, you make one good decision that puts you back on top of the world, and then you die because it's music, and it's a horrible industry.
And you're doing cocaine every 4 minutes.
Exactly. So my mind went there, and then also to Spider-Man. There's a reason why everybody and their fucking mother loves Spider-Man. And it's great now that there's Spider-Man and Spider-Woman and Spider-Gwen, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter to me. But the point is it's this fucking loser from New York City who can fucking swing in the air. You know what I'm saying? He defeats the monster of the week that is just like, there's no way he's gonna get through this. And then at the end, he's like, oh, now maybe I'll be able to ask my girlfriend out. And it's like, oh shit, that's my life. That's crazy.
Exactly, man.
That's
and you relate
crazy.
to it, and then you engage with it. And that's basically how they sell things to you. And whether it's selling a movie, because that is marketing as well. It's like they're marketing that to you. It's selling the movie, selling the story, selling the product, selling the service, whatever it is. Everything's just through that structure, and it's crazy. It's gonna ruin a lot of movies for whoever's listening. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Basically, you're gonna fucking the next Marvel movie. You don't need to watch it, man.
You already know what's gonna happen.
If it's Captain America, he's gonna have a shit time at the start. Something's gonna happen. He's gonna lose first, then he's gonna win, and everything's gonna be fine again. You know? It's like,
And it's like, for me, because I am so invested in the characters, I can get through that. But it's like, there are movies or TV shows that I turn on and I'm 15 minutes in and I'm like, I physically can't force myself to do this.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't like the characters. I don't like the story.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I could waste my time somewhere else. Yeah, bro.
And I get that with the Marvel movies. It's just that I love the CGI and the animation and I do like the characters.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's always like, it's good to watch, it's fulfilling, and it's like satisfying to watch.
But it's not the same as when we were 8 years old and saw it for the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
Because there's something in that, even when you're 8, you know, there's something in that you relate to. You really want to, like, I remember the first time I went to the cinema, I was like 4 years old. I watched what were those superheroes that were red and they could just stretch?
The Incredibles.
The Incredibles. Oh,
come on.
I watched that and I just, at the end of the movie, I remember, like, my mom telling me, she was like, I asked her, I was like, can we just put that on again? Because I wanted to watch it, and it was that relation that you get to it, you know?
Bro.
Whether it's Toy Story and Buzz Lightyear or The Incredibles or whatever it is, you do get that.
Yeah.
And I find that really interesting, because if you can do that, you can sell anything you want, you know?
Exactly.
And whether you're talking about one of your own experiences or someone else's experience, but you can use that to your advantage in everyday life, whether you're trying to sell I don't know, whether you're trying to sell a pair of shoes or you're just trying to convince someone that they should do this, or you can use it. Don't use it in bad ways. Don't use it for psychological manipulation. That's not very fucking nice.
That's not what we're here for.
No, you can use it to your advantage to get just that little edge in life, you know, and you really can. And once you understand shit like that, like, there's so many things like that.
Yeah, bro.
And
that's why, like, before these episodes, I'll tell you right now, I'm admitting to this, the trailer for this episode is going to be fucking hilarious, because it's going to be all of the best parts, all of the parts where people are like, oh shit, he's from Ireland, but I feel that way. Maybe I should tune into this. Yeah. And it's like, they'll listen to the full thing, and that'll be the actual story, right? But in that trailer, I'm trying to grasp your attention with the music, with what's going on the screen, the way I edit the video. So it's like, hey, I do want to watch this when it comes out. Yeah. But for me, all of the heart and soul is in the full conversation, right? Yeah. Because if you weren't here from the minute he started talking about journaling, but you only tuned in for the blurb in the middle about etc., etc., you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not grasping the whole thing. So I think it's very interesting, and I think exactly what you said at the end there, that's why I'm so angry at artists who have bad lives and then continue to do horrible things after they get famous. Because it's like, once you have a platform, you have a responsibility to, one, become a better person for yourself, and two, be a good person so that people can proudly say, yes, I support you.
Yeah, exactly, man. And you can say, yes, I support me. You know, because like, we all grow up in this society, we all have similar morals, you know, whether you tell yourself you don't or you do, like, we do.
Don't fucking kill people.
Yeah.
Everybody who is sane can agree to that.
Exactly.
Right?
And like, you go and do it, and you're telling yourself you're cool, you're like, you're not really, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to everyone else, you're not proud of your fucking self, you know what I mean? Like, imagine, so like, this Saturday night, we were out in the middle, I don't know where the fuck it was, somewhere in Calgary. We were sitting down, smoking a joint, and this guy comes up, sits down beside us, doesn't have 2 front teeth, and I'm like, okay, well, like, fair enough, whatever, like, you know, if you don't want your front teeth, that's okay, be my guest, you know, I prefer to keep mine, but you want them removed,
it's
that's
your
cool,
life.
bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So he starts, like, he hears our conversation, and it's me and Noah, and we're like, just chatting, whatever. He's like, where are you guys from? I was like, oh, I'm from Ireland, and I started talking for a minute, and I was like, what about you? He was like, from I didn't fucking understand what he said, because he doesn't have front teeth, so he wasn't very audible. But so he's saying some shit, and then at the end he was like, any trespassers executed, or any violators executed, or something like that, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if you could go back, like, if you weren't so involved in this life right now, or being a gang member or whatever you think you are, you know, whatever you do, maybe you're listening to this, well, fuck you, man, you know. I'm not coming to your ends, don't kill me, you know.
Yeah.
And if you do, like, anyway.
Exactly.
So, if you could go back and imagine yourself in a life where you are what you want to be from the start. You know, not you are what you want or what your peers want you to be or what your environment wanted you to be, but truly you are what you want to be and what you are. And I think everyone does have that. Like, I don't believe in fate. I believe that everyone has something there they can excel at and really enjoy in life, and if they get there, they'll truly be content, you know. And whether that's, I don't know, whether that's for some people working 40 hours every like day and getting to the 1% where you have $3 million in the bank, or whether it's like, I don't know, selling
a shit ton of kids.
Yeah,
there you go.
Living your life in Hawaii on a beach with a little like guitar shop or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, you have that path in life, I believe, that you should follow, but it's like anything can throw you off, and your decisions throw you off. You can blame it on your environment, you can blame it on where you grow up. Some people do have the right to do that. Like, I'm not saying they don't. Most people don't, to be fair. I think everyone is what they make of themselves. Yeah. You know? And when people are like that, where they're just like doing shit that isn't, like, no one's proud of doing that shit, you know? But they convince themselves they're proud of it. It's like, if you could go back and just choose the path you wanted without this external environment or context pressurizing you into making decisions, you wouldn't think this is cool, because we do have the same moral system, you know. So I don't believe any of those rappers that are like, oh yeah, kill some dude, kill this, kill 20 dudes, kill this, you know. That's like, yeah, you're really cool, but like, if you could go back and just go to school and have a good life and do rap in the normal way and like speak about something that actually makes sense, not just cars and women, in a derogatory term as well. It's like, if you could do that, A, you'd have a better life, B, you'd be more proud of yourself, and C, your family would be proud of you, you know
exactly.
what I mean?
I genuinely get it.
I don't know, man. It's that part that a lot of people don't understand, and probably never will, and that's fair enough if they don't want to. I just think it's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why, instead of doing hard drugs, you should just sit down and have a 2-hour conversation with somebody from the other side of the world.
Yep.
I think if you're willing to be open and learn from every conversation that you have, as opposed to taking tunnel vision, my way or the highway, then you're going to get to where you're supposed to be, no matter what that is. Like, and I think that's a whole nother discussion that we could have on another day about fate, because I think that's huge, bro. But I think the nature versus nurture argument is insane, and I think at the end of the day, just be a good fucking person. Because all anybody wants to do is hang out with good people. So if you're good people, you're going to be fine.
And listen to yourself, and like, learn from every conversation with others, but don't forget to learn from yourself.
Exactly.
Because you are the one person who knows what you want, what you need, what you will want. So like, listen to that, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Like, and learning to do that, that's a skill. It's not like overnight you're going to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to write in this journal and all of a sudden be able to put out all my thoughts, you know? But it's like 2-3 months. It was like playing guitar. First 2 months, man, I wanted to bang my head on a wall every single day, because my fingers wouldn't work, they wouldn't go where I wanted them to, and it's just, you just feel like shit. And that's why so many people give up. And it's the same thing, like, same thing I think with singing. Like, you can learn to sing, takes ages, it can take years, but you can learn how to sing. And like Harry, who you mentioned, like, he even said to me, like, when he started busking, he was shit, like, completely bad. Like, not like terrible singing, like, he still had some musical ability, but just nowhere near what he is now. But just that learning it, you know, it is learning how to sing, it's learning how to play guitar, and it's also learning how to listen to yourself, you know?
Exactly. I think we've talked at you for long enough, man. This was entirely a blessing. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Kieran.
for having me, man.
Of course, man. It is, honestly, the privilege is all mine and the listeners, man. You guys, I know you're going to enjoy this episode because it's good fucking people. So thank you to those of you who listened, and I really hope you enjoyed this.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, exactly, man. Without you, this doesn't happen. We're just fucking talking at a camera, and then it goes and it just sits in the ether forever. So,
thanks for listening to this Irish bollocks talk shit.
Yeah, come on.
With this Canadian.
Come on. Let's go. You gotta mix it up once in a while. So, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of What Makes You Happy. And I'll see you when I see you, and Kieran won't fucking see you, because he's gonna get on a plane and fuck off eventually.
Maybe. If you do want to do a second podcast and just chat shit with no structure, Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. Chat shit with no structure. That's a tongue twister. But if you do, let me know.
Of course, man. Door is always open.
Sweet.
Bless. Let us go.